To begin today, we have our warm-up. Our first problem says to identify the constant of proportionality, which is simply the unit rate using the table below, and give the unit rate in feet per second. This should be nothing new because we just got done with it. Remember, seconds would be our x column, feet would be the y column. We take y, or 120, divide it by x, which equals 5. If we simplify, we end up with 24. We want to do the same for the next column. 360 divided by 15 equals 24. And for the last one, 480 divided by 20 also equals 24. Because all of these simplify to the same fraction of 24 over 1, the unit rate is going to be 24 feet per second. Number 2 says to solve, and we're given a equation. Our first step, I like to first rewrite it so that 1/4 looks like a fraction we're used to. So I would do 1 over 4 times x plus 12 equals 18. Next, we have to use the distributive property. So we have 1/4 x plus 12 divided by 4 equals 18. We can simplify this right away. 1/4 x equals plus 3 equals 18. And then we have to simplify. So subtract the 3 from both sides. 1/4 x equals 15. And in order to get rid of this 1/4, rather than dividing by a fourth, the easier way to do it is to multiply it by the reciprocal, which would be 4 over 1. So you multiply by the fraction flipped over, and if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other side. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4. On the left side it cancels, so we get simply x, and on the right side we get 15 times 4, which is 60. So our final answer is x equals 60. Our I can statement today is I can calculate the tip or tax when working with percents. Finding tip and tax is just another way of doing markup problems. So we're taking extensions of what we learned last week and we're applying it to new ideas with the same methods to today's lesson. Our first problem says that last night I got my hair cut. My bill came to a total of $15 and I gave the stylist a 15% tip. How much did I pay in total? And remember, tip is actually just markup. And so we're going to take what we did last week and we're going to do it with tip this week. So first, I like to find the tip. So tip or markup equals the percent times the cost, which we already know. And so if we pick out our percent from our problem, is 15%. In decimal form, it'd be 0.15 times the cost. Our bill was $15. When we do 0.15 times 15, we end up getting $2.25. So our tip, or the markup, is $2.25. But it's asking how much did we pay in total. And so we have to take the initial or the original cost, add on our tip, and that's going to equal our total price, or the new price, which would be the markup consideration. And so we take 15, which is what it cost, plus our $2.25 tip, and that gives us a total of $17.25. And that's how much we paid all together. Our second example says that when I got my car oil changed, my bill came to a total of $24. If I left a 13% tip, what was my total payment? Once again, just like markup in the previous problem, start with what our tip is. Find the tip or the markup. And remember, that's our percent times initial cost. So our percent in decimal form is 0.13 times the initial cost of $24 gives us a tip of $3.12. Now, because it's asking total payment, we have to find the new markup. So we take initial cost, we add on our tip, and that will give us our total. So we take $24 plus $3.12 tip, and our total bill that we paid was $27.12. My friend Christy is a waitress at Applebee's. She told me that her best tip all night was $15 on a bill that was a total of $56.41 before the tip was added. What percent tip did they leave Chrissy? So, like the two previous problems, start it the same way. It's asking for a different question, but start it the same way. So first we need to find our tip, which we could also call markup if we wanted to. What was the tip they left her? Well, it tells us that the best tip alone was $15. The tip was $15. And remember, tip equals the percent in decimal form times the cost. And we are finding the percent, but we're given the cost. So if we plug numbers into here, we'll be able to solve our problem. We know our tip was $15, so we can say 15 equals the percentage of tip they left, which is our unknown X, times their initial bill, or the total cost they owed before anything, which is $56.41. To solve, we divide both sides by 56.41, and we end up with 0.2659 equals X. However, what I want to point out here, remember that when we put this percent or this X, it's not in percent form. This is in decimal form. And we need to change it to a percent. And you guys have done this before in the past too. So because it's in decimal form, we take our decimal, 0.2659, and we multiply by 100 to get 26.59%. We have to take it from decimal to percent form by multiplying by 100 to get our final answer of about a 27% tip. This next problem is dealing with tax. However, just like tip, tax is another markup problem. It's just an extension and a new application of markup problems. So let's see what our story says. At Target the other day, I bought a pair of shoes for $30, laundry detergent for $9, and some Valentine's Day sale candy for $3. Including our tax of 5.1%, what was my total bill? Before we can do tax, we just first have to find our bill's total. What's our total cost? How much do we owe? And to do so, we just add up how much we spent. So we are going to take 30 plus 9 plus 3. And our bill's total before anything came to $42. Now, because we need to find out how much tax is added, we have to find the markup. So our tax or our markup amount, remember, is the percentage times the cost that we start with. Our percent in this case is 5.1%, and in a decimal form, it's 0.051 times our cost of our total bill of $42. Our tax comes to $2.14. This tax is simply markup. Simply a markup. But now, because we want to find our total bill including tax, we take what we started with, our $42, we add on our tax of $2.14, and our total bill that we owe is $44.14. So, to get the laundry detergent, the shoes, and the candy, it cost me $44.14 with tax. Our final problem today includes tax and tip. So, Matt went out for dinner the other night, and this was his bill. However, the restaurant forgot to add the tax onto his bill. So, if he was eating in Miami Beach, Wisconsin, which was right here in Waukesha County, how much tax would be added on? And remember, the tax in Waukesha County is 5.1%. So, to find our tax, or the markup, we take percent times cost. So, our percent is 0.051 in decimal form times our bill's cost of $155.80. When we solve, we get tax is $7.95. Our next question asks us to find what would his total be if he added an 18% tip. So next we need to figure out our tip, or the markup for the tip. And remember, once again, it's percent times the cost. This case, our percent is 18, so we take 0.18 times the cost of our bill of $155.80, and we get our tip that we're going to leave is $28.04. But we're asking to find his total bill. So we have to take the subtotal, what he initially owed of $155.80. We have to add on our tax of $7.95 and our tip of $28.04. Altogether for dinner, it will cost us $191.49.